Tommy Church was engaged at the behest of Stevens and Wilkinson, a very respected architectural firm in Atlanta, to execute a landscape, a pedestrian plan at the University of Georgia for the Kellogg Foundation-funded Continuing Education Center. And the site was what had been a pecan grove, and the pecans still, a number of those still survive to this day. And it was a combination of a conference center with several auditoriums and meeting rooms, as well as a small hotel. It was a great facility for the university. I met Tommy at the Athens airport, which is hard to believe there is such a thing, in a DC-3, and he hops out of this plane in corduroy knickers, as I recall. Anyway, corduroy for sure, and a sort of a mason's tool bag of equipment, which involved, a 100-foot tape and a hand tree saw and a mallet or two. I don't know where his luggage was, but he was over there for the several days. But he'd come to make sure that the layout was understood, and that if there was any pruning work to be done, he was going to show you how he wanted it done. Anyway, it was a great delight. He is a wonderful fellow. And my role was to see to the execution of the work, simply because he was from California and it wasn't going to be easy for him to come back and forth. I don't believe there were any construction documents. If there were, now, he did more than a sketch. There was a site plan, and he had delineated the areas of paths that were like Miro painting, applied to the ground, that wiggled around and swept around like waves through the pecans, that became these ambulatories, so that when you were in the conference and you wanted to come out and stretch your legs, here was this canopy of trees, and you could wander on asphalt as the easiest surface to lay and not damage the trees. But it was this lovely sort of molasses flow of asphalt to encourage you to move on this plateau. I had subordinate plantings around and in the buildings, but the genius of the scheme was Church's idea of meandering underneath these pecans. It just brought you out of the building, that the lower portion of which was mostly glass, so that if you took a break from a conference, you could see there was another place to be. And I think it was that circulation system was the real contribution that he made. I did do the planting plans, that is correct, and but those were largely, ornamental trees and shrubs and ground cover beds.